All right, guys, I'm Reed, that's Dave, and this is Samsung Business Television. Thank you so much for coming into the studio today. This is fantastic. The infamous Dr. David Rhew, finally here in the studio with us, traveling around the country doing press junkets everywhere here in the U.S., actually parts of the world as well. Finally here in studio to talk to us about trends in healthcare, what we're seeing, what we're trying to solve, the problems we're trying to overcome. Again, thank you so much for being here. Let's start first with what's happening in healthcare with those issues and the things that we're trying to overcome from a market perspective.
Thanks, Reed. Well, you know, one of the things that we hear all the time is that healthcare is just too darn expensive. And one of the things that we realize is that the system is designed around sick care. And what that really means is that when an individual gets sick, they call the doctor, they go to the clinic, they go to the hospital, the doctor then does some diagnosis, does a treatment, and then there's a payment that occurs. You can imagine the more that you continue that process, the more you're likely to want to do more tests, do more treatments, and it continues to drive the healthcare costs up.
So you're almost like, it's almost like someone's being incentivized to do more and more and more tests, because the more tests they do, the more preemptive things in the hospital or in the clinics, the more money that the doctors are going to make, right?
Yeah, and that's the fee-for-service model that we face today. Now, there is some focus on prevention, so we do have vaccinations and we do have certain preventive measures, but for the most part, most of prevention is really dependent on the individual to take charge of his or her health.
Sure.
And there isn't much incentive for physicians, for healthcare teams to follow up and continue to provide that support. Samsung has a very unique opportunity to have a direct impact on that. People use Samsung devices all the time, whether it's the phone, tablet, wearable, even appliances in the home, the refrigerator, TVs, and we have on every one of these appliances sensors that can capture data, communicate to other individuals, and allow us to be able to be better communicating with patients. Now imagine taking that information and applying a health lens onto it, getting people to be smarter in terms of how they take care of themselves.
That's where it gets really exciting, is we're actually able to take this information and apply it for something that's going to be use specific in the healthcare market. That's really, it's like brand new world type of stuff out there.
So Vivify actually has been shown in many studies to reduce readmission rates, to improve patient care, and to reduce overall costs.
Awesome, that's fantastic. So what are we doing? What areas are we specifically focusing on to try to tackle this a little bit better?
So we've been looking at three particularly important areas, one of which is the hospital. Within the hospital, we know that there's opportunities to improve the patient experience. And when I say patient, I'm really talking about the patient, the family, all the caregivers, the individuals that are seeking treatment. We talk about what's the experience from how you can use technology to enhance that. So a good example would be if you imagine right now the patient and the doctor, the interactions that occur, much of this is oftentimes based on a conversation that may occur. What has happened with the electronic health record, however, is that individuals sometimes are no longer paying face-to-face, but are now typing away on the EHR.
On the shoulder, right.
And then looking at the patient. What we're realizing is that, can we maintain that face-to-face by perhaps using a tablet?
We're face-to-face, exactly.
Yeah, that allows us to be able to display the image and information on a screen so that you can use all the information and the tools behind you, the displays, as means to provide education, to inform people, and even get family members involved.
Absolutely, and you still have that human element too, because you're not crouched at a terminal, hunched over your shoulder looking at somebody, which is really important. Okay, so we have in hospital. What are some other areas?
Yeah, so thinking then also outside of the hospital, specifically around digital health, and this involves the use of sensors that may be on devices like this, the Gear S2, which has a variety of different sensors that we continue to add on to it, but it has heart rate, activity, accelerometers, and things like that. And what we're finding is that that provides a great medium for us to be able to track individual performance and activity on a daily basis. So once we have that information, we may be able to provide we'll call nudges or information that can guide people to better health.
Right, absolutely.
And that's a very important part of our strategy to try to enable patients and consumers to use these devices that they wear and they carry every day to lead to better health outcomes.
Right, so we have in hospital, in health, where else should we focus?
And then the third is in the home.
In home.
Okay. And what we've been thinking about in the home is that the individuals that tend to spend a large amount of their time in the home are seniors. And in fact, seniors, when you think of who gets readmitted to the hospital, 50% of readmissions occur from individuals over the age of 65. The majority of individuals who have multiple chronic comorbidities are over the age of 65. And so back to the original conversation around who do you need to target to try to provide a more cost-efficient way to deliver care, the senior population is the ideal population.
Right.
And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to find ways that we could then not only provide technology to providers that can take care of seniors, but how can you engage seniors so that they can take better care of themselves?
Absolutely.
And that would be on the go and in the home.
Awesome. So there you have it, guys. Just in summary, our focal points, trying to save costs in the healthcare industry, really being proactive in health, and really those three key areas that Dave talked about, which is in hospital, in health, and in home. Thank you so much for coming in today.
My pleasure.
Absolutely fantastic. Again, Dr. David Rhew in studio with us today. Thank you so much for coming in. Check out the comment section below. If you have any questions or comments, post them there. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and thanks for checking out the rest of our videos. I'll see you on the internet.